This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by the folks over at CardMaxPayments.com, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. If you have a legal adult use or medical marijuana dispensary, head shop, vape shop, or online CBD or hemp products store, then you could benefit from working with the pros at CardMaxPayments.com, who can help you shrug off the burdens of doing all your business in cash. Just swing over to CardMaxPayments.com to get a quick and free quote on what it would look like to work with the pros over at CardMaxPayments.com, which is spelled exactly like it sounds. Thanks to everyone over at CardMaxPayments.com for the support. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Thursday, May 10th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 487 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story of the day is one of those rare instances when Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week jumps to the top of the headlines stack. Today's graphically enhanced lead story has to do with the projected size of the legal marijuana industry in the United States as made by Marijuana Business Daily in their soon-to-be-released 2018 Business Fact Book. As Marijuana Business Daily has it, legal cannabis sales in the U.S. totaled around $6 billion last year and could hit as high as $9.7 billion this year, on way to a $20 billion level in just 4 years, with adult use sales taking over an increasingly large portion of the overall total. As heady as their projections are, 2018 is currently on track to double up on projections made by Marijuana Business Daily for this year in 2017. That doesn't mean that we can or should expect the same going forward, but it does speak to the industry's strong growth right now. A good one to read in full and to have in your mental pocket. $20 billion by 2020. Alicia Wallace, one of the few remaining cannabis-focused writers at the now gutted Cannabis, has a good story up at the Denver Post about recent sales numbers out of Colorado for their legal marijuana industry. Yesterday, the Colorado Department of Revenue released sales numbers for March, showing a total of $106 million in sales for adult use. Medical sales added in another $29 million to set a new high mark for the state. So far this year, legal marijuana sales in the Mile High State have totaled a touch over $365 million, up 6% from the same 3-month period last year. In that same 3-month period this year, Colorado pulled in $64 million in taxes and fees. With their second story of this almost Friday, Marijuana Business Daily has a good angle on a story out of California that we've touched on in recent days, and that's the lower than expected totals for how much cannabis-related taxes and fees have been collected by the state so far this year. The interesting twist on this story, as told by Marijuana Business Daily, has to do with the dampening effect the lower totals collected is having on California marijuana tax policy. Another longer-running storyline on this show has been the high taxes set on legal California marijuana, which is dissuading both consumers and businesses from fully participating in the industry. There's been a lot of pushback on the high tax structure, and there's been some talk of reducing some of the tax load, but the lower than expected tax receipts so far this year have made it harder to talk about dropping the effective tax rate. As with most stories out of California right now, this one is complicated, so I'd add it to your list of ones to dive into. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, CardMaxPayments.com, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. If you're involved in the legal marijuana industry, then you know how hard it can be to find a good way to handle your customers' transactions digitally. While generally cash is king, when you have a retail shop, dealing with physical dollars is kind of a pain in the butt. That's why you should open up CardMaxPayments.com to get a quick and easy quote on what it would look like to work with CardMax Payments to process more of your shop's transactions digitally. If you have a legal adult use or medical marijuana dispensary, head shop, vape shop, or online CBD or hemp products store, then do yourself a favor and open up CardMaxPayments.com, which is spelled exactly like it sounds. No silent Q's there. CardMaxPayments.com. All right, time for the Blitz. Kyle Yeager over at Marijuana Moments did us all a good turn and put together a roundup of the election results from Tuesday's primary votes held around the nation and framed them in terms of cannabis policy. Swing over to Marijuana Moments for this one. Moody's Investor Services just released a new report looking at how legal marijuana could impact the sales of alcohol and pharmaceutical products like anti-anxiety medications and antidepressants in Canada and the United States. From the sounds of it, there's nothing particularly earth-shattering in the report, but it's good to know that the official word via traditional investment channels is that legal marijuana is set to take away a lot of market share from booze and big pharma, and that executives from those industries are becoming more and more aware of the threat and opportunity, depending on how they look at it. This is one of our industry's more interesting storylines. The Washington Post has an insightful longer-form article up looking at how the island territories of American Samoa handled being abandoned by all mainland banks in 2016, with some lessons to be learned for the legal cannabis industry. This is an overarching issue for everyone in the industry, no matter where you hang your shingle, so this is another one I'd open up to read in full. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. One of the sadder conflicts between federal and state cannabis law comes on the grounds of federal housing facilities, where lower-income people live in housing subsidized by the federal government. In states where medical marijuana is fully legal, residents of federal housing are barred from using or even possessing medical cannabis at the threat of being evicted. 7 Days Vermont takes a good look at the issue as it's playing out with the Burlington Housing Authority, but it's a story that can be found replicated all over the nation. One of the myriad of reasons why we need to end federal prohibition. Lawmakers in Louisiana's state senate voted 25-9 yesterday in favor of adding a number of new conditions to their list of medical marijuana qualifying conditions, including PTSD, intractable pain, and severe muscle spasms. The Senate also passed by a vote of 21-10 a measure that would add autism to that list. Both bills now go back to the state house for a review of the Senate's changes. Besides legalizing adult use cannabis, 2016's fall ballot measure also brought legal hemp to the state of Massachusetts, where it's now perfectly legal to cultivate industrial hemp anywhere one could grow industrial tomatoes. There are a few required state licenses to get and steps to take before growing hemp, which Mass Live nicely summarizes in a story that you should click over to if you're into that sort of thing. And finally for today, Leafly's Jesse Standiforth put together a great longer-form article examining the interplay between the federal state of Canada and the First Nations tribes and people, who have a long and complicated history as full of tragedy and broken promises as any shared between Native people and the cultures that took over their lands. I myself have an admittedly shallow understanding of that history up in Canada and appreciated Jesse's piece for providing some background on how it's affecting Canada's push to legalize adult use marijuana. Open this one up as well. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, CardMax Payments, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with Marijuana Today.
One take, Shay. One take.